and gentlemen, welcome back to Dork Entertainment. We've got a very special video for you today. Zack Snyder's The Justice League. Finally, it's here. So this is the review video. We checked it out. 4-hour epic movie. We're going to give our score rating and our thoughts on what we thought of course, the movie. So let's begin, shall we?
Yep.
So I've got David here with me. I've got Daniel Dog, and of course I've got Sameed here with me. So we're going to give our in-depth analysis of this movie. Now, just to let you know, these guys are DC fans right here. So
Hell yeah.
They know quite a bit of knowledge about DC.
I think he's more knowledgeable than me.
Quite a bit of knowledge, you say. It's a very... yes.
Hey Daniel, what kind of cup do you have there?
Oh,
That's a very interesting looking cup you guys have.
Very interesting.
Dog Entertainment. Thank you to Benita San for organising these cups. Thank you very much for Dog Entertainment.
Thank you, Benita.
Yes. So before we start, let's just go around the grounds and what we, essentially scored this movie when we watched it. So, we're just going to give our rating initially before we start though. Actually, I just want to say thank you before we start with the review for all of your support so far. Please do like, share, and subscribe if you can, because we do appreciate all of your support out there, and it'll help us create more content and do more reviews and things like that, and do a few different things as well. So we're just going to go around the grounds. I'll start first with my score rating for this, and I'm going to give this a 8 out of 10.
Ooh.
So I love these sort of epic movies. Yes, it was 4 hours, but 8 out of 10 for me, definitely. This is like a wholesome movie, so 8 out of 10. Holistic DC movie, 8 out of 10 for me. Sweet?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it as well. It's definitely a different experience to the 2017 film. 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 for me as well. It's a marked improvement, and it's as I said, I've probably seen before. I'm not really the greatest Zack Snyder fan as a director, but it's got his usual Zack Snyderisms in it. He does all his fancy, stylish slow-mo shots and everything.
100%. We'll touch on that a bit later as well.
But I thought it actually flowed way better, and the Snyder Cut added way more context to all the scenes. And there was one character who I thought was gypped in the theatrical cut, which we'll talk about as well.
Yes, definitely. That's a big part of this movie. So we've got David here. So what did you think, David?
And I honestly can't put it into words, really. Like, before this, Avengers Infinity War was my favorite, superhero team-up movie. And I honestly would say it's Justice League now. So for me, it's a 10 out of 10. Easy.
10 out of 10.
10. Yeah.
Wow, okay. Wow. And we've got Daniel Dog here. So what did you think, Daniel?
Just 1 second.
Sit from his,
I think he's got a lot to say.
Being a avid DC fan, I gotta say, I was very much impressed with this film. Zack Snyder, he did a really, really good job. So my rating for this is also, I wouldn't say a 10 out of 10, because I did kind of wish there were more things to it, but I'd give it a 9.5 out of 10.
9.5 out of 10. Wow, that's pretty good. That's a pretty high score.
Yeah.
So it was almost a perfect movie for you.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So that's our scores from everyone. It's of course rated pretty highly by all of us.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to go into the discussion now. So spoiler warning. So if you haven't watched it yet, we are going to talk spoilers. So please maybe go watch the movie first, then come back and check out our video from here on.
Yeah.
I think first thing we'll start with is some of the characters and the character development. I think that's very important.
Yeah, basically, Joss Whedon, Ray Fisher.
Yeah. So
Spoiler alert. Yeah.
The cyborg character.
Oh my god, man! I think over is an understatement. Really, this was basically a cyborg movie. At one point, it literally felt like a cyborg origin movie, and I just don't understand.
I mean,
what happened
essentially,
behind the
yeah, it
scenes.
was a cyborg origin
Yeah.
of it. Yeah,
He is very central to
Yeah.
the main plot.
yeah.
And for a long
definitely.
time, Ray Fisher, the actor, so he was, he was like really campaigning
Yeah.
against Warner Brothers, and no one really understood why.
Yeah, we're all
No
kind
one-
of.
Yeah, well,
Everyone was like, he wasn't really giving much details away about what exactly happened. In the
Yeah.
yeah.
But
It makes sense
man,
now.
it makes
It
a lot of
makes-
sense.
yeah.
He just got cut out of the movie.
Yeah.
Just-
So he
Basically.
pretty much became, in the original
Yeah.
one, like a side character.
He was a side
Yeah.
character.
He was
yeah.
part of the team, but like it's interesting because this movie was introducing him at the
Yeah,
time
yeah.
as well. And just imagine if they introduced him with what we've seen in the Snyder Cut. You know what I mean? Like compared to what we got previously.
He's so integral to the story that I just don't understand the cut. That's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
especially when you're introducing a new character that's not really known by that. Look, Flash has been known TV show and it's pretty popular. Wonder Woman's known, Aquaman's known,
They're all
Batman.
well-known
They're all well known.
characters.
Cyborg's not really been explored that much in, I guess, film,
Yeah.
or at all actually in film. And for them to just sort of, like in the theatrical cut, just cut him like that was just insane to
They
me.
did him dirty. They did him dirty.
They did him dirty.
Yeah.
I never understood what was going on with that.
Yeah. Like I mean, when you talk about the boxes,
Yeah.
The mother box.
the mother boxes, he was integral to.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Even the ending of how they eventually split them again. Like he was, oh my god, I can't believe they cut his role and
Yeah.
they simplified his role, where he just became like a side character. That was
Yeah,
Basically,
he
Yeah.
simplified it. Yeah, like it was like because you got the Amazons guarding one box, you got
Mm.
the Atlanteans guarding the other box,
Mm.
and essentially Cyborg and his dad with the other box.
Yeah.
Like he was like the third box was their story.
He's
Yeah.
made from the box. Of the
Yeah, and he was-
He's
yeah,
made-
so
he's
That's
made-
one of the
Yeah.
biggest things. Like
Yeah.
he's actually made from the box. They actually
Yeah.
show that
Yeah.
after the accident that he
Yeah.
has, which
Unfortunately, his mother does pass away.
Yeah.
But he's still alive.
barely alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then his dad basically brings him back to life, but with the mother box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his dad had a much larger role as well in this
Yeah.
film.
Oh yeah.
Star Labs as a whole actually has a pretty
Yeah.
a big role as
And
well.
there was a character you guys were mentioning in Star Labs.
Oh yeah. So for those of you that know Ryan Cho,
Ryan Cho.
yeah, the Atom, he was in it, but it was just that was kind of annoying though, because it's like the whole time he's in it, so it's like in the
Yeah.
Avengers, Peter Parker turns up, but it's just Peter Parker. It's not like
Yeah.
yeah. So it was like a central character, but he never really became that.
Well, he wasn't a central.
Not a central character, but like that tease of
Yeah.
another hero. Yeah.
So that was the most blaring, character that the difference from the old movie to the Snyder Cut to the Josh Whedon cut. We should call it the
Justice League.
Justice League.
Justice.
The other characters, I felt, they all had a part to play.
Yeah.
Flash's role was more fleshed out.
Yeah.
Definitely more fleshed out.
Yeah.
In the Whedon cut, he's more like a bumbling idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one.
This
Never
one
made
actually-
never made any sense. But in this one, they show he's like, he's
Hero side.
He's a hero.
Yeah.
He's a hero, but like he's smart. Like there's a reason why he's the Flash, and there's a reason why, he's actually knows what he's doing. He's a
Yeah.
smart guy. He's inexperienced, yes, and they show that as well. He makes some rookie mistakes, but he's not dumb, which is what the Whedon cut stuff showed
That's
it.
the one because
Yeah.
his part is like his job. He's like a forensic scientist. I
Yeah,
think.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he's a smart guy.
He's
Yeah.
a smart guy.
He's a scientist,
just-
he's
yeah.
smart guy, but he's inexperienced.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
Whedon misunderstood inexperience for dumb.
Yeah.
I felt like Whedon was kind of going for that, that quirky.
Yeah.
But he was
dumb guy,
trying
but
to
then
make the
it was kind of like I felt like
A
it was
Tom
a bit
Holland,
Tom
yeah.
Holland
Yeah.
2.0.
Yeah, and then but eventually that also leaked onto the Batman character, which was disappointing in the old cut, in the Joss
Yeah.
Whedon cut. So he gave Joss Whedon a lot of one-liners.
Yeah.
He gave Batman a lot of one-liners.
Yeah, quippy
Um,
one-liners.
yeah,
that
it
made no
was
sense.
like
Something's
when-
bleeding. Something's
Yeah.
definitely bleeding.
yeah, like
And then you got to the second half of the movie in the original cut, where Batman was just like doing one-liners and like comedy and stuff. That's not Batman. You know what I mean?
yeah, he didn't understand the character.
They actually kept him like dark in this, which is great because he's a dark character.
Yeah.
And he starts off like that. He's supposed to be the leader of the group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then he becomes quirky. And
Yeah,
funny.
it didn't
What
fit.
was that? What was that line when him and Superman met for the first time? He's like, "Well, I don't not like you.
Yeah.
It felt very awkward.
He's like, you brought me back because you like me, I heard.
Oh no, I was like, well, I didn't know. I know you didn't bring me back because you like me. And he's like, well, I don't know.
Yeah, like that was
That's
just
like a bit out of character from Batman.
Well,
like
it just felt like Whedon trying to put in Marvel humor in
I think
so,
DC
yeah.
property, and just
Yeah.
it didn't fit. It
Yeah.
didn't fit.
But in this cut, in the Snyder cut that we've watched, that we're reviewing, he's that's been taken out. So most of that's been taken out, and the originality of Batman has sort of returned. The flow throughout the movie, he's the same character. He doesn't change.
he is the Batman.
He's the
He is
Batman.
the
Yeah.
Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the Batman. Yeah, it's not just some quippy version of it. Like
Then you've got Wonder Woman, who was pretty fleshed out as well. Like in this, like there's quite a lot to her backstory.
yeah.
With her exploring, and finding out the story of Darkseid.
I like how Wonder Woman calls Superman Kal-El.
Yeah.
And the way she says it.
Yeah.
Kal-El.
Yeah, when he comes back, when Superman comes back.
This is very Wonder Woman. I was thinking about it. It's very Wonder Woman.
And then you've got Aquaman, who I thought, I don't know, like 'cause seeing all the other characters, their actual storylines and the fleshed out characters, Aquaman didn't seem as fleshed out to me.
And I think maybe it might have something to do with the fact that his movie was originally going to come out.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
like,
there
close
is
to
that.
that.
Yeah.
that's right.
So
Yeah.
they probably didn't focus as much time with Aquaman.
Because
They probably
are
need to.
there's stories at the Throne of Atlantis. The comic that the movie is based on is called Throne of Atlantis, and it's supposed to be a lot different. Not a lot different, but the tone was supposed to be different to what we got. And so I think that's why. Because if you watch Justice League, then you watch Aquaman, it's like Amber Heard's got like a British accent or something. In Justice League, like it's totally different. Like it's sorry, we don't. Talk about, we don't talk about those.
And then getting on to those characters were quite this whole movie, all the characters have been fleshed out well, and you've got enough time. You've got 4 hours to flesh out these characters, and Snyder has done that, I feel. And then you've got the bad guys. So you've got Darkseid, who of course makes an appearance in this rather than just being named in the last movie.
Name drop once.
It's a pretty extended cameo. Like it's not just one shot. There's quite a few scenes with him, and I thought it was okay. It was pretty good.
Yeah, and introduced a whole new MacGuffin, I guess, with the anti-life equation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is probably the biggest MacGuffin in the DC universe.
Yes.
And I think, unfortunately, Zack Snyder's not coming back for another Justice League, is what we've been hearing.
We've played.
But that's
Anything's
as it is,
possible.
as we've like the existence of a Snyder cut just proves that anything is possible.
Yeah.
Because the fact that Warner Brothers, actually spent close to, I think, $70 to $80 million to get this finished.
Yeah, that's
is just incredible. Like, you never see this for a DVD. I was like, HBO Max provided that, that reason for them to go back. Otherwise, I don't think you'd ever.
But
see that.
that's why I think there's a chance maybe he will come back because of HBO Max.
But there's a good chance that he won't because of how the studio's
treated him.
That's true.
That's
as well.
the only part. But what we have to remember about this is that the existence of a Snyder Cut is not really a Warner Media thing. It is an AT&T thing, which is above Warner.
Yeah, that's true. as
The
well.
parent company of Warner.
If AT&T can step in that situation,
if AT&T steps in and says to Snyder, basically gives him a J.J. Abrams deal that Warner Brothers gave him, and goes like, we'll give you $500 million. You do your whole universe on HBO Max.
Yeah,
he'll do it.
Because we're mentioning this because the ending of the Snyder Cut, because it does with Darkseid's character. There's a whole lot more.
Yeah,
it is a cliffhanger.
It is quite a cliffhanger there. Now, the last character I want to talk about before we move onto the story is, of course, Steppenwolf. Steppenwolf's model was mostly redesigned.
Yeah.
Voice acting, I think, was done again.
Some of it.
And little dialogues or dialogue changes, here and there.
Yeah, made him less of a
one-dimensional
villain to a guy. Is like, okay, so he's trying to.
Well, he's got motives.
Yeah,
And
He's got a reason.
To me, there's still a little bit of bland dialogue,
Yeah.
but at least it's more fleshed out as a character, which I think is way better.
Definitely.
He's got motives. He's like, there's a lot of context around what he does. But I thought it was definitely an improvement.
Yeah, and moving on from that to the CGI, because his character I want to talk about. They have improved the CGI of his face and his body armor quite a bit.
Yeah.
Now, CGI in the whole movie, I've got to say, it was hit and miss for me.
There's some unfinished stuff there, you can tell.
There's quite a few. There's some action scenes where they look really great, but then bodies flying everywhere. It just doesn't quite look as polished. So that's what I thought about the CGI. What did you guys reckon?
That could be like, going back and finishing. CGI cost a lot. That's another thing. That's what I don't realize. That's like $70 million, while a big number. It probably cost probably closer to 120 to do good CGI and have enough time to do it. So it probably was budget constraints and time constraints.
That's true.
To finish it off and polish it off like you'd want it.
Yeah.
But there's so much happening in this 4 hours. Sometimes you don't even notice, or you can excuse it. You know, like for the next big thing that's going to happen in the next scene, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Going on to the story. Now, we already know what the story is.
Yeah.
Now, so when you guys watch this movie, just remember it's not a new movie. It's pretty much the same movie that we saw before.
Yes.
And it's sort of like you could say it's a director's cut because it is his cut. It's
it's a director's
cut. But it's a little bit different from a director's cut where they've just added scenes back in, for the whole.
They've added scenes back in. They've given more context to scenes.
Yeah. They've actually gone back and filmed.
They've expanded on different things within it, like the nightmare, the nightmare dreams, nightmare sequence. It's more expanded, and there's just a sense of flow throughout the movie, which I felt the other one didn't have.
I mean, like right at the opening scene, you got Superman. So the opening scene is basically Superman. Batman v Superman, Superman dying, and Superman's screams going across the world, and
triggers,
that's what
the bell
triggers.
is wrong.
The bell is wrong.
Yeah,
the mother boxes are now awakened because Superman is dead. That flows a lot. Like
way better.
Just like in the first 5 minutes, it's like, oh, this all makes sense now.
Yeah, and it did definitely compared to what we got before, which was a recording of Superman from a child or a kid, and it was just
saving someone, and then you see the awkward upper lip and it's an S. It flows like a river.
That didn't make any sense.
And because they've given these characters more dimension, it adds to the story. So the whole cyborg story interjects with the whole movie. Do you know what I mean? Like he's the central character.
Yeah.
The mother boxes are of course the central character there, but his story is based around one of the boxes.
Yeah.
And the ending of the boxes, splitting of the boxes, he's got a big role to play in that. I feel like at the end as well, there's no one character who destroys the box and that's it.
Which is
it was a combined. Yeah.
Which is what Superman did in the Whedon
in
cut.
the original.
Yeah. He just they were trying the Justice League, but they weren't really succeeding. So then Superman comes in and just destroys,
wipes the floor
with Steppenwolf, and that's the end of the movie.
Yeah, this one, everyone had a role to play.
Everyone's important; they have to,
and that's what you need in a multi-star, movie like that.
Yes,
you need everyone
needs to,
and
everyone needs to
the
play a part.
One of the big things was the Flash had a major role as well.
Yes, he did. Yeah,
that was. I can't believe they changed that in.
Reversing time for learning, like him saying he's never done this before. And he doesn't know what's going to happen. So it's an unknown for him, but he does it, and it's something game changing for the DC universe, I guess, going forward because of the Flash movie where there is multiple timelines and
that's I think December next year sometime, right?
Yeah, I think
December next year.
And that has big implications going forward as to what the Flash movie and probably the whole universe of DC.
But I think
just to keep in mind, just remember Justice League, we got I don't do anything, I just push people away from we went from that to what we saw, and I gotta say big improvement.
Well, I mean,
definitely.
Technically at the end of the movie, right, the Justice League technically failed. That's why Flash went back in time so he went from what Daniel was saying to basically going, no, I have to run back in time to save the whole thing, right? So
can we talk about the nightmare sequence? Well, that is incredible. That was so good.
So there's a big cameo in the nightmare sequence as well, which we should probably get out of the way first. So the Joker basically appears.
Your boy Jared Leto.
Jared Leto.
What about Deathstroke? Oh, whoops, sorry.
I was going to say Deathstroke as well.
Oh, whoops.
But that's a bit of a surprise there, and it's sort of like a second chance for the Joker in a way.
Yeah, definitely. The Jared Leto Joker,
Yeah, from what we saw in Suicide Squad.
This Joker creeped me out.
Yeah, that's what Joker should do. He should be creepy.
He was a creep. Like, this was a creepy. It wasn't like any. This isn't like any of the other Jokers or a comparison. But this guy, like, is a creepy ass Joker.
There's something very Marilyn Manson about it.
Like, it's like
very much looks like the Marilyn Manson.
Design was on point, like that psycho sort of.
And like the sort of when he's sort of shaking when he hears about Harley.
Yeah, so he was like when it was like Batman was like, you know, Harley Quinn died and it's like
he's like shaking.
And for that second, it's like, wait, did he just break the Joker? Then he's like, no, he almost broke him, and nah, Joker went,
And this sequence was towards the end of the film, so it's sort of the cliffhanger type thing to set up future stories. So it's good that it was placed there. So the nightmare sequence we see. Should we talk about who the main villain is in the nightmare sequence?
Darkseid.
Well, Darkseid, but then there's Superman with the red eyes.
Oh, that's
that's also
that's a big spoiler.
Well, it is Darkseid with the anti-life equation controlling
Superman.
And like you see how Wonder Woman has like there's a funeral for Wonder Woman. She's got like the coins in her eyes
and the sword, and then we see Darkseid killing
Aquaman,
while using his Omega beams, which by the way looked
the Omega,
amazing.
They look really good.
Just facing through a random Atlantean soldier, and then the next scene is Superman holding a burned corpse, which most likely Lois.
It's got to be Lois in the Batcave.
In the Batcave. That's a
in the background you could.
In the background you see
Robin's suit.
Nightwing suit.
So if you look closely in the background, you can just see Robin's suit there. So.
And Darkseid obviously puts his hand on Superman and then uses his brainwashing. And then the next shot is the destroyed Hall of Justice with a Green Lantern body, which is Abin Sur.
Who is Abin Sur?
So he is the predecessor of Hal Jordan, which means that Superman technically killed Hal Jordan, like all the Green Lanterns from Earth. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So this is quite
that's
a dark.
That's a really
dark
sequence.
Yeah.
So wait, is it that Superman killed majority of humanity? Is that what the nightmare sequence is?
I think maybe Superman killed the heroes and the parademons and Darkseid and Desaad and all that did
humanity.
Yeah. Wait, did they kill them or did they just turn them into parademons?
Most likely probably parademons too.
Probably both.
Yeah.
So that's that's the final sequence. Yep.
Even the parademons looked better. I don't know. I just gotta mention that.
There was more detail.
There was a lot more detail. They just looked better. They looked better. Sorry. Sorry.
They did definitely look better. The CG is hit and miss, but they did look better than this. Moving on to another aspect of the movie I'd like to talk about also is the ratio that it's been filmed in.
That was an interesting choice.
So 4:3, like how we used to get back in the day on 4:3 TVs.
Yeah.
For those of you that remember it.
Yeah. And then everything's moved on to widescreen since then with widescreen TVs. But Joss Whedon... Sumit knows a bit more detail in the reasoning why Zack Snyder did that.
I think most likely it was because he used film cameras to shoot it. And with film cameras, usually what you get out of the digital negative is a 4:3 square. Mm-hmm. So, and then from there is where directors usually go in and pick their framing for the widescreen. That's how it's usually done.
Yeah.
But I guess Zach just wanted to keep the 4:3 aspect ratio.
Yeah, and I think
to sort of show, because he says it's more about the verticality in superheroes and all that. How that he just wanted to show basically all the action.
Yeah. So that is, I think what we have to understand also, it is Zach's vision.
Yeah.
So
this is Zach's. His movie. Yes.
And so what he's showing. Like, I just sort of learned to accept that. That's Zach's vision. He wants to show it in
like, if you notice it for the first couple of minutes and then you just sort of go, like, you're just watching a movie, it doesn't go away.
And the thing is, this sort of movie, if you watch it on a big screen, you will hardly notice it as well. Because it's massive. If you watch it on a massive screen, it's just... That's the way he wants, I think, intended for this to be watched. Just imagine if IMAX was still open.
It would have been a very good IMAX movie to watch, actually.
Definitely.
But IMAX's ratio is also 4-3, isn't it?
It's close to.
It's close to a
yeah.
4-3 one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would have been interesting to watch.
Hurry up and reopen IMAX. Come on, man.
In Sydney, yeah.
Sydney.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's pretty much covers all of the bases for
definitely.
this movie. I definitely enjoyed it. You know, it's interesting that the crowd have sort of rallied behind the studio, well, Zack Snyder, and to get the studio to come to an agreement to release this.
It's unprecedented. That's what I'm trying to stress here. Like, this type of movement, and for it to be released, and for Warner Bros. To go back and spend close to $80 million on fixing this, from an assembly cut to a final cut, is pretty extraordinary.
Yeah,
in Hollywood, it's never been done before.
The question is, does it set a precedence? Like, are there other projects which could?
It could.
Well, we got Sonic the Hedgehog, right? But I think that was a marketing ploy. Me and Daniel still think that was a marketing thing.
I think it was marketing.
Yeah,
ploy as
But
well.
maybe the change in character, the change of the
Because when we heard there was going to be a Sonic the Hedgehog movie, we just thought, oh, great, it's another, kind of,
Yeah.
And then I saw the trailer, then it was like, yeah, what the hell is that?
To me, the turnaround time was very quick.
Oh, yeah, it was,
To change it.
But remember, with that, the movie hadn't come out yet,
Yeah.
right? So they went back when the trailer reactions from everyone. By the way, check out the trailer reaction on Dog Entertainment.
One of the first ones we did, actually.
Yeah, the trailer reaction, actually, they listened to people, and then they went and changed the character before the movie came out.
Yeah.
So they, in a way, they possibly dodged a bullet there, right? With Zack Snyder's cut, it had come out. There was reactions.
Oh, that's
sorry, not
true,
Zack
yeah.
Snyder's. Sorry, with Josh Whedon's cut. It came out. People had their reactions. People liked it, didn't like it, whatever. Years later, now the company has gone back and invested in this.
Yeah.
And
It's not even it's the company above the company.
yeah,
Yeah, it was more AT&T.
It's more AT&T on
my
top
opi-
of it.
in my opinion-
Warner Brothers, I think, still does not like Zack Snyder, from what I hear.
Okay.
Well, just keep that in mind. Sorry, just keep that in mind that when Tom and Jerry came out, apparently the first
The first hour was Justice League.
Yeah.
So someone
leaked it. There's still some resentment. I think it might even be resentment of the fact that it sort of went over their heads. It's AT&T that's directed this. And you're going to see a lot of AT&T involvement now with HBO Max. If they want to compete with Disney Plus and Netflix, you'll see AT&T get involved in a lot of stuff, because that's a big money now, streaming. That's where everything is. So we can see something that's impossible happen.
And so, I just want to say thank you to Warner and Zack Snyder and the company above,
AT&T.
AT&T. Thank you so much for giving us Zack Snyder's the Justice League.
They've got 40 million subscribers.
Who does?
HBO Max.
Wow.
That's what I was just looking up. Yeah.
Well, there you go. And HBO Max, just speaking about that, they've got a massive lineup coming up in the next couple of months.
That is true.
One of the biggest movies coming out, Godzilla vs. Kong,
Hell yeah.
Mortal Kombat. It's crazy. So,
Matrix 4, Dune,
yes,
John Wick
God.
4. Man, look at
But
that.
with HBO Max, having 40 million, for the longest time, HBO Max was considered a flop.
Oh yeah, now
It's
that's half the number of Disney Plus subscribers, but still, with nothing really there besides Zack Snyder's cut. They got 40 million now.
Remember also, they're not in Australia. HBO Max is not available in Australia. They've gone through different channels to a different
Foxtel.
Or Foxtel and Binge.
Yeah, Binge is part of the Foxtel group. So Binge has got a contract with HBO.
So if you're in Australia,
and stuff. So definitely on Binge is where you'd watch it.
Binge is where you watch it. So
that's where we watch
but
it.
it's interesting that it's not HBO Max. It's not the actual HBO Max in Australia. Do you know what I mean? The channel.
No.
And that's something with 40 million subscribers. You were saying.
Yeah.
They haven't expanded. Technically, they have, but they haven't.
That's the difference between HBO Max and Disney and Netflix, is that they're mainly an American sort of company.
Yeah.
So 40 million for an American company is actually interesting. They might be happy with that.
Yeah, like Disney, Netflix have gone worldwide, but they've it's mainly American. So, but yes, look, I really enjoyed this movie. I think it was totally worth the time.
Yeah.
If you can watch it, it is in chapters. So there are chapters in this. If you want to watch it, 6 chapters, it's separate.
And it is it is 4 hours, and that's a lot to watch if you were in a cinema, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But when you're at home and like we've all gotten used to streaming and binging, it actually goes pretty quickly. Like when you think of like when you're not really like it actually feels like it goes quickly.
Yeah.
But
if you don't have 4 hours, you could probably watch it in parts.
in parts, yeah, it's in chapters.
And it'd still be enjoyable.
Like the movie does, like you were saying, the movie does keep moving.
Yeah, it moves at a good pace.
Yeah.
Even though it's 4 hours, it moves at a very good pace.
Yeah.
And with the context, just how it's sort of flowing into the next scene, it's sort of actually. There's a big criticism of Zack Snyder before that. It's just his movies are just a bunch of scenes together, with no flow in between. But this one definitely has that flow. There's a lot of context behind it, and there's a lot of connections behind each scene, so it works. Yeah.
Another thing I heard was Zack Snyder can't tell a story within 2 hours. Like he has to.
That's where I still feel like I don't think he has that ability. That's why I reckon he's more suited to the streaming market.
Streaming, definitely.
Where he can flesh out his story, flesh out his characters, tell a cohesive story. I just don't think he works well in the studio system anymore.
Well, isn't his next project like a zombie?
Yeah, I think with Netflix. Yeah,
Army of the Dead or something.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. Like Netflix basically told him, "Do whatever you want." And I think that's sort of what he needs. That's what like a Netflix will allow him to do whatever he wants with streaming. You want to do the 6 chapters? You want to do 12 chapters? Whatever you want to do, just do it. But
I don't think Warner Brothers would do that if AT&T got involved. I don't think Disney would have done that. None of these they wouldn't have done it. It really is only because of AT&T stepped in. Yeah,
definitely.
I say it's unprecedented that sort of a movie's released and then to go back and for it to be fleshed out the way it has, but the amount of money they put in on a project that was considered a flop when going back, but. It's just never really been done before, so it's uncharted waters.
There's one more point actually in regards to this, like the fans that have, sort of brought this back to life with the Zack Snyder cut. I don't think it's going to be hard for this movie to bring in new fans. Like it is quite a good fan service for the people who love DC, who love the last movie, who are looking for more from the DC universe. But for like a general person who hasn't seen any of it...
We were watching it and we had a couple of casual views around us. And I don't think they were really that what was going on.
We were watching every scene like 4 hours, like, oh my god, wow, that's awesome. But then their reaction was a little bit more like, oh, okay, it's quite a bit long. Yeah.
So it is exactly as Zach said, this movie is more for comic book fans than for casual fan base, but
and as dorks, I think we loved it.
Hell yes.
All the dorks around the world.
Yeah.
There was another cameo actually, just before we go. It's on Daniel the Martian Hunter.
Martian Manhunter. He's fully in it, for everything. And
don't you mean Piccolo?
Piccolo, according to Vinay. But yes, Martian Manhunter was in it, and I gotta say. The actor that played him, I originally didn't like the choice because when you think of, for me, Martian Manhunter, it should be played by a big name actor. But I think because he's a big character in the DC universe.
I've never heard of him, but anyway.
But
I don't know
after seeing him again, I gotta say I do have I respect the actor for what he did and. I think it was
even though at the end of the day it was pretty much a useless cameo. He sits out the whole thing and then he says, "I'll join your team when it's finished."
It's a fan service cameo.
Well, actually, that's it at the end where he says, "I'll join." Now I heard from Zack Snyder, it was actually meant to be Green Lantern.
Well, apparently it's supposed to be Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds was meant to.
Wow, that would have been interesting.
If it was Ryan Reynolds, that would have been man.
But you got nixed by Warner Brothers. They didn't.
So what they got? What is it called? Green Lantern something.
Green Lantern Corps. Yeah.
So on HBO Max. Oh, that's
the series. They're doing
series, right?
It's like a space buddy cop.
Yeah. So they probably look, we can't allow you to do that. We've got this series coming up,
but it's weird that they allowed that since next year we're getting the Batman, right? But people are going to be confused. Like, where's Ben? Like, some people are going to be like, where's Ben Affleck? Then why is
That's why I think the Flash movie will probably be very important. I'd like to know what happens there.
Yes, definitely. That's going to be
in terms of multiverses and all that.
But that's a video for another day.
Yes.
Multiverse.
So Madness of the Multiverse?
Yes, that's also coming up. That pretty much wraps up our review today for Justice League, the Snyder Cut.
Oh wait, sorry, Simon. Can I just say just one last thing?
Sure.
Just one final thought.
Sure.
So, just my final thought, because I noticed we all talked about the characters and whatnot, but we left out Superman, of course, and I gotta say, Henry Cavill was just amazing, the perfect dark Superman, and then seeing him in the black suit was also insane.
Yeah, definitely.
And there's rumors that Henry Cavill is finished with the Superman.
I do hope that's not true, because when you think of Superman, that is him. So
actually, it was the other way around. Sorry, Henry Cavill wants to do Superman.
He wants to,
but the studio is like looking to reboot.
Well, yeah, J.J. Abrams is in charge of the new Superman. That's what we're hearing. Rumors.
Oh, man, it's gonna be like another mystery box.
J.J. Abrams is in charge of it, and there's rumors that it's going to be Michael B. Jordan. That is the Superman.
But see, one of the funny things about that is apparently the Supergirl is apparently going to be in that reboot.
Supergirl going to be in the reboot?
Apparently, that's one of the rumors.
Well, I heard Michael B. Jordan was going to be Superman as well.
Yeah.
But personally, I enjoy Henry Cavill. I think there's a lot more story to be told with that character.
There is way more to be told.
And he hasn't been a bad Superman.
No, he's been very good.
He's just,
I've enjoyed his Superman.
Yeah.
So Warner Brothers, please don't recast him. Just keep it.
The AT&T.
AT&T, please do something.
Ray Fisher, we stand with you.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
We understand. We get it.
We understand.
My God, that was
definitely understand.
That was borderline criminal, I reckon.
Yeah.
Like, man, he could sue them, I reckon.
Something's not right between those two parties there.
And it's funny because he's been very vocal about what's happened. Yet on the other side, you got Jeff Johns, Josh Whedon, and Walter Hamada, and I think Hamada, and there's a fourth person I don't remember the name. They've been very
Kevin Tsujihara is the fourth person. Yeah,
Kevin,
they've been very quiet. Oh, Tsujihara's not with Warner Bros anymore. But
didn't he get Me Too or something?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and Walter Hamada, there was the whole thing where Ray Fisher's like, I'm never doing a movie where Walter Hamada's a producer. Oh, he's kind of the head of DC, so it kind of sucks. So.
So as of right now, Ray Fisher is no longer Cyborg, but hopefully something can.
That sucks.
Happen.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like with the Snyder Cut, we're all hoping something gets worked out for DC
for the next
forward.
iteration,
or even just hoping that they have a plan, because
they need a plan. Really,
a lot of what is wrong with DC up to this point has been the fact that they had no plan.
Yeah, and if you compare that to Marvel, Marvel have laid out a plan for years, like stories that are
The past decade was about the Infinity Saga, and they've got what I hear, they've got plans to 2030. Like they know what they're doing.
25 apparently mutants. Okay, hang on, wait. That's a different. That's a different video, guys. Let's focus on DC for now.
Yes. But look, this video has gone on quite long now. So this is a 4-hour movie, so we do have quite a long review for this. So thank you for sticking with us in this review. I really enjoyed the movie from what I'm hearing from all of our reviews.
Oh, yes.
So please check it out. You might want to watch it in parts. It might be a bit long, but if you can, watch the whole thing, that's great as well. Like we did for 4 hours. Please check it out on Binge in Australia. Or HBO Max in America. Let us know what you thought as well of the movie in the comments below. Please like the video. Please do share it as well if you can, and subscribe, and we shall see you in the next video. Peace.